And we continue our conversation with Representative Mike Gallagher, running for re-election for the Wisconsin 8th Congressional District seat in Washington. Wisconsin farmers, they've been getting pounded by not just COVID-19, but also the trade war with China. Is there anything the federal government can do to help these people out there?
Well, in the midst of the pandemic, in the early stages, I, along with a lot of my colleagues, worked with the USDA secretary to ensure that they started buying some excess cheese on the market and then distributing it to food pantries and where it was needed around the country. So that was a small step that we took to help our farmers. We also need to make sure that Canada is abiding by the new terms of the USMCA agreement, which is a big win for Wisconsin farmers and gives us a little bit of access into the highly protected market in Canada. And as it pertains to China, we also need to make sure that China is abiding by some of its commitments under the phase 1 trade deal we got. And I think we all want to get to a point where even as we move to a much more confrontational approach to China, which is welcome, we can still retain the ability for Wisconsin farmers to sell soybeans to China. And that's part of a broader strategy of opening up as many markets as humanly possible for Wisconsin farmers. I really want to salute a lot of the farmers in Northeast Wisconsin who have taken a highly innovative approach to sustainable agriculture. I just hosted my Save the Bay Field Day a month ago here in Northeast Wisconsin, and it is really inspiring to see all the ways in which farmers are finding a way not only to survive in very difficult circumstances, but do right by the environment, making sure that there's not nutrient runoff into the water system. And I think we in Wisconsin have an opportunity to lead the world when it comes to sustainable farming.
What are they telling you out there, farmers? They still worried, or do they see a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, we've well, for a few years now, we've had persistently low milk prices, which is a problem for Wisconsin farmers. It's why a Democratic colleague of mine in Wisconsin, Ron Kine, and I just introduced a bill that would create a commission to look holistically at the overall agriculture, the dairy industry, and try and figure out what's happening, what's driving this, and what can we do to fix it, because we're tired of the piecemeal approach. Honestly, beyond the short-term business concerns that I hear from farmers and the desire for us to open up new markets, a lot of what I hear about is workforce concerns. It's, I'm a fifth-generation farmer in Northeast Wisconsin, but, are my kids going to be interested in doing this? I think we need a way to make farming cool again, for lack of a better term. I think there's a misperception among our youth right now that agriculture in general and dairy in particular is kind of an old school enterprise, which when you go to these farms, you quickly realize is not the case. It's incredibly advanced. They're using state-of-the-art robotics, automated machinery. I mean, if you're a kid that's interested in tech, I can make an argument to you that you would want to apply that knowledge and that interest to the dairy industry, and you can make a great living while also doing some really cool stuff here in Northeast Wisconsin. So that's a K through 12 issue. That's getting into the classrooms early and telling kids, hey, there's a great career for you here, and you can go directly into the workforce or go to a tech school. You don't have to go to a 4-year country club college. So I think we need to effectuate a massive cultural shift to help our farmers out on the workforce side of things.
You talked about farmers protecting against things like runoff. In general, are we doing enough to protect our environment as a whole?
Well, I think we've made enormous strides in recent years. If no other, for no other reason than we've recognized we have a problem. I don't think we're doing enough, but I also don't think we need a wave of new regulations or laws. To some extent, we have the laws on the books. We just need to enforce them appropriately. And polluters, I don't know if it doesn't matter if you're a big farm, a small farm, or a medium-sized farm. We need to make sure that you're not polluting. And then we need to do everything possible that we can to encourage sustainable practices like the use of digesters or dewatering or crop rotation, things like that. So it's not going to be fixed overnight. We've learned painfully at times through trial and error, but luckily we now have an incredible, I think, world-class repository of expertise right here in Northeast Wisconsin that we can draw from to ensure that we're doing better going forward.
You mentioned your Save the Bay project to combat phosphorus and its impact on the hypoxic pools. Has this situation improved? Has it gotten worse? Is it the same as it has been?
I think it's improved. You can say it's not happening as quickly as we'd like. For point source pollution, we've made some pretty dramatic improvements. I guess my analysis that it's improved is based on the idea that we have a level of awareness about it today that simply didn't exist 2 years ago or 4 years ago or 6 years ago. So I think that awareness is driving some real concrete actions that I've seen on the ground from Northeast Wisconsin farmers. Now, obviously, it's hard to measure the overall impact of all those disparate individual actions, but we've made enormous strides on making people aware of this problem. And again, I just think the people that understand this the most, that tend to be the most concerned about the health of our soil, the health of our water, the health of our overall environment in Northeast Wisconsin, are farmers, because their livelihood depends on having healthy soil and clean water and clean air and things like that.
Congressman Mike Gallagher is with us this morning, and we continue our conversation right after this. Stay with us.